spend the weekend with me. Hello everybody and happy Saturday. So last video was a week in my life and I ended up in Florida. I'm actually back in Florida, but a month later. And so today's video is just the weekend in Florida. Anyways, it meant to just be simple, fly back, come home, relax, and then I had a concert. I was meant to go to Bon Jovi concert. That's not what happened. So let's get started with the video. Okay, good morning. I woke up sick because I woke up freezing. Like literally, like actually frigid. I felt like Elsa. And then even when my mom turned up the heat, I was still freezing. And then now I can't stop sneezing and I need to blow my nose like every 2 seconds. So, yay! But whatever. My whole family just went out to diner. I don't really eat breakfast like ever though, so I only really eat it like when we're on vacation, but I don't really want any because I don't know, it doesn't really feel like vacation. So they've just gone out. We're leaving today, so I need to pack because I've not really packed. I've just taken stuff out of my bag, not rather put anything in. So I'm watching some more YouTube. I'm gonna do my skincare. I'm gonna get changed. And my suitcase, when I came here, it literally all just had clothes in it, so I can literally just dump everything in there. Not that I got anything other than that preview bag. We just checked out the hotel. I'm in the UF bookstore. I'm in the makeup section, but it's like they're going through renovations right now, so there's like boxes and like a ladder and stuff. My dad wants to get something for golf clubs. I'm just looking. I'm trying to think of what I need, but I really don't know. I kind of want to do more makeup videos, but I also have a plan of like videos for a long time, so I don't really know when I do that. But I really want to try MCO Beauty, and they have that here, but it's just like there's a huge box in the way. But also my favorite lip liners are here. I got like a different colors of theirs too. I really want this. I don't even know what we're doing. My family will have breakfast, but I'm gonna ask to get Dunkin if we pass by one, because I know there's one by the hall where my brother lives. Our flight got canceled because there's been bad weather here, but I also think there's been bad weather in New York because there's like Canada fires. So I don't know what that means for us. Also, they don't have fucking Red Bulls here. It was a Saturday, so it was really empty in the building. So we just decided to find a table, sit down, everyone, or not everyone, my parents looked for flights. I don't know, my brother was doing it and I was doing Adopt Me. Oopsie. But my parents found the earliest flight, which was tomorrow morning. So we ended up having to leave Gainesville, but first we stopped at this donut shop, and then we also went to Dunkin, and it was the same Dunkin that I went to in my February vlog. It's about an hour to Jacksonville, which is where the airport that our flight was out of is. And it's honestly a really easy drive for me because I'm not driving. I'm just sitting there with my music, my refresher, and like relaxed. Plus, by this point, I'd already done it like 3 times, I think. By now, I've done it more like 5, but I don't know. Once we got into Jacksonville, we checked into the hotel like almost right away. It was the one next to the airport, and we actually met a family from UF whose flight also got canceled. But I was basically just watching YouTube. My dad was watching golf, because what else were we supposed to do? Like, we didn't have a plan. Also, sorry for my finger, but we didn't have a plan on what to do. Like, this wasn't meant to happen. We also, since it was like spontaneous, it was only one room for all 4 of us, which personally I hate more than anything in the world because I know it means I won't be able to sleep tonight, and I was already tired, which absolutely sucked. This was also the day of the 3rd place match in the World Cup, so this was France and England competing for 3rd place, and they'd still get like some sort of award. But the thing is, like, I didn't even know they did this because England has never been in it, and no one really cares. So I was just watching YouTube whilst I was watching the game. We put it up because might as well. But honestly, it was really fun because it was a really high scoring game, and like the players like seemed happy, and like it seemed less stressful than the rest of the World Cup games, and I really much preferred that. and England won, which obviously makes it amazing. But honestly, like, I preferred it so much more than the actual, like, Spain versus Argentina final. Probably like 6 now at halftime of the show, or the game, and Harry decided he wants to put on his England shirt, which is why we're not leaving right now. But we are going to Outback Steakhouse for dinner, I think. So we were about to go there, and then Harry just goes, I want to put on my England shirt. Okay, we just got back from dinner. I didn't get a video of it, but I had a side of mac and cheese at Outback Steakhouse. Because I didn't really want a steak, and I think there was like stuff on the menu that I wanted. I'm not gonna say what it was, but something just happened to me that genuinely changed the way I look at one of my friends. Like, I can't look at her the same. And I told my other friend about it, and like both of us were just like in shock. I don't want to out this friend, and I don't want to like cause drama. I don't know. I don't really know what my goal here is. I just like, it's so weird to me. Like, even a month later, like, I genuinely can't process this thing, and it's like shocking to me. Like, that's my only word for it. And I genuinely had like the biggest crash out of my whole life in this hotel lobby, like mentally, not like physically, because I just like, it felt like someone told me that the sky was actually purple, but I look up and it's still blue, and now I don't know whether I'm right or they're right, but I know I'm right, but also like, does that mean that they're also right? And I just like, genuinely, like, I was going insane. When we got back to the hotel, I knew I had to like log in, because at this point I was alone in the lobby, and my brother and dad were returning our rental car, and my mom was talking to the hotel, I don't know. But once we got back, I was like, I need to log in, because I don't tell my family about like what's going on with me and my friends. So I was like, it'd be a little concerning if I just like brought this up, and I low-key don't want to have to do all that. So I was like, let me just watch from YouTube. I love the Basement Yard, they're funny. Maybe this will like, I don't know, center me or something. Genuinely the funniest thing ever. Instead of struggling to like maintain composure for this problem, I had to maintain composure and not just burst into laughter, because then I didn't want to have to explain what I was laughing at, because that's so much work. Also, going back to what I said earlier of how I struggled to sleep with no sound, I ended up going to sleep later than my family, because like I just do normally. And so I had my headphones on all night blasting music with my AirPods too. So I hoped I would do well, and then it turns out that I didn't, and I slept worse than I ever have in my life. Nothing, by the way, because it was 4 a.m. We had to get to our flight technically, and I'd woken up. I was running on like 2 hours of sleep. I knew it was going to be really annoying all day, and then all of a sudden we find out our flight is canceled again. So instead of trying to find another flight, because we thought we would get canceled again, and also I don't even think there were many available soon, trains were like $1,000 each. Buses, no one's doing a bus, bro. So instead my dad decided to go rent another car, and we were gonna drive home. The drive is around 17 hours, but we decided to find a stop, so it was only 5.5 hours at the start. But this is the most we've ever driven, apart from we drove 5 hours to Vermont in June. But anyways, the entire car ride, my dad was just giving me his phone, because we had 4 Bon Jovi tickets for tonight, and there was no way we were going to make it in time, because we'd have to just drive nonstop at the speed limit or above it. And at that point, no one was going to want to go to a concert. So I was just checking prices, adjusting our price. My mom listed it on Facebook. Like, we were stressing out, and we did end up selling them. But like, my job was the ticket seller. This was what I was doing basically the entire 6 or however much we drove that day. At this point, I was really, really tired though, because I was still not great for sleep, but I also wasn't tired because I'd been woken up. So I tried at first. I was like, you know what, let me just talk to my family. Let's have a fun bonding time together. But it was so clearly obvious that none of us had enough sleep or energy to do that. So I ended up just wearing my headphones and listening to my music, because I can't use my phone when I'm in a car, because I'll get really, really bad headaches. I can't like read, because the same thing will happen. I can't use my computer because it would use my phone's data, which would lower my phone's battery, and I needed to salvage battery because I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know we were gonna stop. I didn't know where we were gonna sleep. I didn't know what was gonna happen. Okay, we took our first stop. We're at a Bucky's. Genuinely, no idea how we're making it through this. Everyone's really tired. It's been like an hour. Also, they don't have Red Bull. Or they have Red Bull, but they don't have like flavored Red Bulls. I've been asking my mom if I can get Bloom. It has much more caffeine in it, but it's also really good. Getting muffin. I really like this place. I saw it in a Jake Weber vlog. Okay, I don't know where my mom went. But I saw it in a Jake Weber video and it looked cool. Neither of my parents are from America, so they didn't know what a Bucky's was. And then also, like, we don't do car rides, but because of the video I saw with Jake, Johnny, Tara, I, like, knew it. And, like, I was like, oh, this seems, like, cool. And honestly, it really was. The fudge was delicious. It was just, like, a nice break in our road trip. Plus, we got gas and everything. But my dad was going crazy, like, running around looking at all the stuff he could get. But then we were back on the road. Now that I had food and a drink, honestly, I was in, like, better spirits because, I don't know, it was just, like, very, I don't know. I don't like car rides. I feel like you're not supposed to be in a car for that long. Like, this time, it was 5 hours until our break, and I know I already said that last time, but we didn't know we'd be seeing a Bucky's. But this time, it was actually 5 hours, which genuinely, like, 5 hours of sitting still, you only have access to the muffin and energy drink you just bought and your phone, which you can't even use. Like, that's, like, too much for me. But also, being able to listen to music and look out the window is really nice and peaceful if you just ignore the fact that you have no more freedom in life. Okay, I'll say this now. This video is going to be me lip-syncing music and then me telling you about the trip because I couldn't really film whilst my family's there, and then I can't sing whilst my family's there, so this is really what you get. But I also, like, whilst I am complaining about this trip because it was torture, I will say I had fun. Like, the music was very nice and peaceful. I'll put my music in the description, the playlist I was listening to, because I actually did enjoy them, but it also kind of made me sick of music for the next, like, week or so, because, like, it's the same playlist I listen to all the time, and it was just, like, I'd listened to it too much by now. But anyways, I got to go to new states. I can't think of what states it was, but we stopped in almost every state we passed by. Like, there was the Bucky's, there was another Bucky's, we stopped at a friend's house, we stopped at an airport, or at a hotel, we stopped for food. Like, there were a couple of different stops we had throughout the way, so, like, now I can technically say I've been to those states, which I probably would never have gone otherwise. But it was time to try my Bucky's muffin, and honestly, I had zero faith, because, I don't know, I feel like I did try the fudge at Bucky's, and all the brand food I knew was gonna be good, but the thing is, like, I really didn't expect, oh my god, I just realized I forgot to eat a fudge back in New York, and it's gonna be expired by the time I get home. No. What am I doing? Anyways, I just thought that it was gonna be, like, just enough nutrition that you can survive your car trip, but not that you'd be happy. I don't know, but it was actually really good. And you can tell by the fact that there's chocolate along my face. What the hell? Also, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my family is quite religious. So my brother and my mom really wanted to watch mass, even though we weren't able to stop at a church. So my mom got a live stream up on her phone, and we all had to watch it in the car. And we actually did this when we were in Vermont too. I'm in the bathroom. The line was crazy, but also this is a nice bathroom, like 4 walls. I was listening to Starting Line every 10 minutes. That song makes me so emotional. Anyways, but we are still in South Carolina, almost in North Carolina though. I think we're like 1 or 2 more hours.
By saying yes, you are agreed to receive this one-time text message from Virginia Surety Company Incorporated, an assurance company. Would you like the link now?
No.
Say yes or press 1.
So it was a longer line.
No. Please say or enter. Sorry, I missed that. Please say or enter your
Close to customer service.
Said that it was empty, and I literally just like, some lady came in at the end and was like, oh, sorry, and I was like, oh, and I just had my phone in front of me recording myself. It was so
I think it's
awkward.
short, but it's
But we ended up going to the friend's house, and we were there for probably an hour or two.
Is Richmond
We
before
had
or
a really
after
nice house, by
DC?
the way. But we were
Yeah,
just like
I
all
know.
yapping together, and it was also at this time that the World Cup started. So we were there for a decent amount of the thing, and we just like sat down and like hung out. It didn't feel like an hour, which was really weird because like he's not my friend, he's
I
my
was
friend's
telling
friend,
him that I
and I
can't
was kind of
imagine
annoyed silent the
talking
whole
about going
time.
to drive
But
into DC,
it was
right?
like, it went by quick, it was
I'm like,
fun.
oh my god.
Okay, genuinely, what the hell? I just came back to the car and I find one of my AirPods on the floor. I didn't know I was missing one. Oh my god. Oh, no. This is completely melted. Oh my god, and it's melting out the bottom. Yeah. It's not good. Shit. I'm gonna put this in the bag though. But I think we're headed back on the road. The guy we're with right now, he has done this. They're both melting. Oh my god, I should have thought about that. Look at that. I don't know what to do. Oh my god, it's on my phone now. What are you doing? Are we leaving?
We're leaving, yeah.
We'll get to what happened to the chocolate later, but we got back onto the road and my parents were kind of talking about it. Their plan was to get as far to New York as possible. We stayed like too long at the friend's house. We couldn't get there tonight, but we could get there at 2 a.m. and no one wanted that, so we're like, let's just get really, really close so we have very little to drive tomorrow. And also we did miss the concert, but the tickets did sell. Also, my dad was the one driving the entire time. Whenever we rent a car, he's always the one on the insurance. And this time, we decided to put my mom on there too, but she's not like as big of a driver, I guess, because my dad drives an hour to and from work every single day. So my mom doesn't really do that, but we got my mom to drive for like an hour to give my dad a break. And literally the one time she drives is when there was a huge storm. The camera doesn't pick it up properly and like show you the extent of the storm, but we couldn't see more than like 2 feet in front of us. The like whole car was slightly shaking a little, like it was crazy. And I text my friend about it, and this girl, she's always going on car rides. She drives like literally all the time. And so when she's like, oh, it's no big deal, just like be safe, and me and my whole family were like kind of freaking out because we're like, what the hell is gonna happen? It's like so stormy. So we ended up just like getting off the highway because my mom genuinely could barely see in front of her with the headlights on. So we carefully went to a little Italian place and I got some pizza and we got to finish the World Cup there. The weather is so weird because what do you mean? It was like a crazy storm and then an hour later it was just bright and sunny. But when we got back on the highway, it was a little cloudy and a little rainy, but nowhere near as bad. My mom got back to driving and you can kind of see with the sun, it was pretty light out still, but soon it did become dark. I preferred this part of the road trip because it felt more peaceful and calm. I feel like I always feel more calm at the very, very start of a morning or at the very, very end of a day. So this was nice. And then I also just love seeing like car lights and a dark sky. Plus, just look how pretty that is. Like those clouds are gorgeous. And I feel like it just gives off a fun vibe that you don't get during the day. I don't know, I just love night. We took our final stop for the night at a gas station to obviously fill up the gas of the car. At this point, I was tired. I think it was probably 10 or 11-ish. So it was late for sure, but my parents were like dead set on getting far, and we weren't too far yet, so we still had a little more driving. I think I took a nap earlier on in the car trip, but I don't remember, and obviously I didn't film myself because what the hell? First of all, I was asleep and also not doing that. But this point, I genuinely did not want to fall asleep because the vibes were so high. And also, you can kind of see the picture in the next to the maps is Spotify. My mom likes music, but she doesn't really do her own playlists. So when we're in the car together, she'll go to my Spotify and pick my playlists. And this one was, I think, May. And that one was like all just boy bands. So it was a lot of like Big Time Rush, One Direction, 5 Seconds of Summer. Like, I've been obsessed with Five Sauce. If you watched any of my videos in the last month, you'd probably know that. So it was just such good vibes. So it was music that I adore. And then I also had my AirPods in. So I was listening to like 2 amazing songs in each ear. And look at this view. Because we were driving all along the East Coast. And like, the East Coast is full of really nice places. So it was just so fun to see. Like, are you kidding me? Going back to the music I was playing, I also had my mom learn about the lore of like Five Sauce and One Direction. So I was like getting her to name each person on the album covers. I was getting her to like figure out things. It was so funny because this girl had no idea. I think she named them like Pedro, Juan, and Carlos. Like, she was done with me though because it was extremely late and I don't know why I was super energized, but it's 11:30. I look like a mess. We just got to the hotel. Good morning again. We had a really nice hotel. It was honestly a really nice place we were at. It was walking distance from like a couple stores and it was all just really, really nice. I just didn't sleep well, so it wasn't nice in my head at the time, but now it was nice. I feel like that's how I'm thinking of this entire car trip. I don't know. Anyways, we went to a bagel place for breakfast and I was like, okay, perfect, like I got a bagel. And then I walked in and I said I don't want a bagel. So, donut with a cream. Also, ignore like that look bad. I really don't care. I'm not too sure how much sleep I got last night. I got 4 hours the night before and I've been in the car all day, so. Okay, so we stay in Maryland and I think we only have like 4 hours left. So, I'm so tired. I think it is only 4 hours left, so we're just gonna leave now. Maybe stop somewhere for lunch, probably not, but just kind of raw talking all the way home. I finally came up with a name for my first character in my book, so now we need the other 2 main characters, and I'm gonna work on their Pinterest board some more. My AirPods are fully charged. I have headphones too, like, everything is fine with me, especially with my dunkin. I've never said this in an actual video. I've posted it in my shorts, but I would really like to write a book by the time I graduate high school, or at least have a manuscript that's ready to be published or something like that. I've always loved writing, and I've written books and poems and stuff like that. Me and my friends wrote children's books when we were in elementary school, but I wanted to do a one now that I actually have skills of writing. So I took a creative writing class last year. Like, I've got a whole bunch of ideas to do, and I've like kind of tested a couple of those ideas. And earlier this year I did a hockey book. I didn't like it, but now I have one that I really, really like, so I've been working on that a lot. Like, I was actually currently working on it right before editing this video. At this point, I was definitely in high spirits because I had my music, I charged it last night. Even though I was running on little sleep, I was energized. I had my Dunkin, which is always a great thing for me. And now I'd really been struggling with names for the characters because that's so difficult to do, and I make things more difficult because I wanted to know her middle name, and it actually proved to be important to the plot. But oh my goodness, like, that was so difficult to figure out, and I was just thinking of that the whole time, listening to my music, and it was honestly really nice, especially knowing that it wasn't gonna be in the car for too much longer and I'd get to see my dog, I'd get to see my bed. Okay, we just stopped and I see a Red Bull that I want. My mom won't let me get it. We're looking for food, but I'm not hungry, so. I got my Red Bull because I'm a genius. I told my mom I would get something to eat if I got Red Bull, so she let me get the Red Bull, and I got some popcorners for the car. At this point, we were basically home. It still was a long drive, but if you think about it, the amount of time we had left was practically nothing compared to what we've just driven, because you could just see the New York City skyline from the car.
Well, if you remember, when we came out of the
close. Based on the barking and the fact that I'm in my own room, we made it home! Woohoo! I'm so tired. Yeah. Genuinely, at this point, I was disassociating. There was no way I was in a box for that long. And then my mom called me because I'd forgotten about the chocolate and needed to clean it up because my dad was returning the car. Okay, so, yes. They found the chocolate. But I'm just gonna clean it up with some cloud wipes. I did do my best to clean it, but, like, no, I just cleaned the thing. I literally had to go into my nail and, like, scrub around the edges, but I don't think I think I got it all out, actually. I'm so tired. I also feel really, really nasty because, like, it's not like I had a choice, but I've been wearing the same clothes for so long, and I really want to shower, but I'm also just, like, I don't want to. It's so much work. But I'm gonna try and clean up my room a little bit because, like, it's actually really messy. This is my rest of the day. It's literally just gonna be me cleaning. I'll probably take a shower tonight. Apparently we want to go out for dinner because, like, technically no one's eaten today. I'm so tired. Sorry. But yeah, this is a whole extra day for the video. I was planning on just ending it last night after the Bon Jovi. That one's Bon Jovi. On Top of Zayn, below Madison. We were meant to just see him last night. And that's the end of the video. I did not get to see Bon Jovi, but also I didn't really want to. It was more my mom's thing, but she's seen him in Ecuador and in Jersey. She just wanted me and my brother to get to see him, but I didn't really want to, and the tickets were expensive, and I was like, well, if I don't get that, I can just spend the money on another concert. So, and my brother went with my mom. They had a fun time. Bruce Springsteen came out, and just, like, overall it was low-key really fun. And it was also like my parent thing was really good because now we know, like, if plans get canceled, we can always drive down to my brother because he's moving in now, which is really, like, weird feeling. He's moving in tomorrow, and then the next day me and my parents are gonna go to a beach, and he's gonna be here in classes. Like, that's gonna be so weird that he's not, like, with us.